help discuss the latest developments with Iran, I'm now joined by Saeed Khan, Associate Professor of Near East and Asian Studies and Global Studies at Wayne State University. Thank you so much for coming on, sir.
Thank you, Karina.
What is the Trump administration's long-term strategy towards Iran following the strikes? The Iranians have said that they have no plans for talks. Trump now says he will bomb again if necessary. What does it all mean for the future of nuclear diplomacy then?
Well, I think before we start talking about nuclear diplomacy, we have to talk about diplomacy per se. And it seems as though that really was shattered well over a week ago when Israel attacked Iran. And this was, of course, 2 days before scheduled talks between the Trump administration and Iran to try to rejuvenate essentially the structure of the nuclear deal that had been painstakingly cobbled out by the Obama administration in 2015. That included what at the time was the Trump administration saying that we wanted to put curbs on Iran's possible weaponization of nuclear weapons, not enrichment. That was something that Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, had said that Iran should not be allowed to even enrich any more uranium. We'll never know if Iran would have gone ahead and agreed with the Trump administration on not having a nuclear weapon. But the idea then, as far as what exactly the Trump administration wants moving forward, is really nebulous. Now, as you rightly reported, the president has said that even threatening further military strikes if Iran were to dare to even enrich more uranium. So in that sense, it seems as though the Trump administration is moving more toward the narrative that is being offered by Israel. In both cases, the United States and in Israel, there is no confirmation that Iran was even anywhere close to going nuclear when it came to its military capabilities at this point. So when it comes to diplomacy, I would imagine that the Iranians are quite confused as to what exactly the United States wants and whether the United States would even then adhere to any commitment that would be enacted if, in fact, those negotiations were successful.
How fragile, in your opinion, is this ceasefire? Because up until this point, Israel has been quite clear that they're looking for regime change at the end of the day.
We don't know if Israel wants regime change or if it wants regime collapse. Regime collapse would mean the dismantling of the current Khamenei administration, and at that point, perhaps the installment of a more cooperative and a more quiescent regime. The son of the last Shah of Iran is certainly waiting in the wings very eagerly. But the United States and the Israelis are both relying on some rather specious information, claiming that the Iranian people have been polled and that a majority of them are also seeking regime change. Now, Iran, I doubt, conducts many polls to go ahead and see what the approval rating is for Grand Ayatollah Ali Khamenei or the entire system of the Iranian government. So I'm not sure upon what the U.S. and Israel are relying. And quite frankly, I would imagine that it's really irrelevant. What we do know is that there's nothing that galvanizes people more than when there is an external attack, irrespective of who's bringing it and irrespective of what is seen or at least badged as the intentions to, quote unquote, liberate a people. Right now, I imagine that the Iranian public is more behind the current regime than it ever has been.
Well, it brings me to my next question, which was how strong is Khamenei's hold on the IRGC and frankly on the country? He's now in his mid-80s and many Iranians do want to move forward past the conflict. Many within the country support regime change, but then who could replace him and what role could the new, more moderate president perhaps play?
Well, the reporting coming out of Tehran is that Grand Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has named his successor. That is information that probably is being kept classified, more so to prevent that potential successor from being targeted by Israel or even possibly by the United States at this point. What we could probably surmise is that a more moderate regime may be more open to dialogue and diplomacy, but it's important to remember that the current president of Iran, Pezeshkian, is a moderate, and yet, despite that fact, the negotiations were scuppered by Israel and now by the United States. There's a fear that in this current climate, Khamenei could have possibly named somebody who is, as would be described, more hardline, more inflexible, to say that if Iran was able to withstand not only the attacks by Israel, but also by the United States, perhaps this is the moment for Iran to then be more inflexible when it comes to applying what the Israelis and the Americans are seeking from Iran in the form of concessions to its nuclear program.
Interesting. Now, Congress has been receiving briefings about the strike, and the Senate has just rejected a Democratic measure that would have required Trump to seek Congress's approval for another military strike. What's your reaction to that?
Well, this we find then is the politicization of a foreign policy conflict. And really what is perhaps more troubling is the fact that Congress is abdicating its long-held role to be a check and balance on what would be an overextension of power from the executive branch, meaning the White House and the Pentagon. The fact that what would seem to be a very reasonable measure for the administration to check in with Congress to, at the very least, provide Congress with information is now really up in the air. The Trump administration is claiming that it will not do so because they are afraid of a leak of any kind of sensitive information, as they are claiming when it comes to the intelligence report, saying that Iran's nuclear capabilities were really only set back by several months, not permanently destroyed as the Trump administration is claiming. But the fact that there are supposed to be these circuit breakers, these checks on the unbridled authority of the executive branch, simply from the standpoint of Republicans marching lockstep with a president of their own party, sets a very dangerous precedent when it comes to curbing what would be seen as inappropriate military action and intervention by the United States.